Why should someone invest in healthcare sector, Aditya?
So very simply put, three reasons. Number one, healthcare sector is a non-discretionary sector. So people like to invest in companies. Ideally, investors should invest in companies which are non-cyclicals, which are all-weather companies, all-weather investments. Correct.
Hmm.
Now, healthcare is a consumption story. If you think about it, right? If you want a strip of paracetamol, regardless of whether you have 50 rupees in your pocket, 500 rupees in your pocket, or 5,000 in your pocket, you will buy one strip of paracetamol. Correct. Just because you have 5,000, you're not going to buy 100 strips, and just
Yeah.
because you have 50 rupees, you're not going to buy one tablet. Correct. You
Yeah.
will buy the entire strip if you need it. Correct.
Yes.
So it's a non-discretionary consumption. It doesn't depend on interest rates, inflation, GDP growth, even disposable income. It is just a very non-discretionary nature of consumption. So it's an all-weather portfolio. It's an all-weather sector. It performs across all cycles. So that's number one. Number two, Indian healthcare in itself is very, very nascent stage. We are just beginning to scratch the surface of healthcare in India and export businesses both, right? So the runway for growth for us is phenomenal, and it's a sector which we are dominating globally. We are globally competitive in this sector. In India, there are probably only two sectors where you can say the statement that we are globally competitive, and that's pharma and IT, right? In every
Yes.
other segment, and these two sectors put together is what, only 20% of your diversified portfolio, correct? The rest of your diversified portfolio is in sectors which are where the companies that we invest in are not globally competitive.
Yeah.
Right? They're locally competitive, but they're not globally competitive.
What do you mean by that?
So, for instance, Indian pharma companies have 48% volume share in US. Am I right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Do Indian autos have any volume share in US?
No.
Do Indian banks have any volume share in US?
No.
So, with all due respect, HDFC Bank is a great organization. They've done very well in India. But can they go to New York and open branches and get 5 savings accounts?
No.
So these companies are great companies in India, HDFC Bank and Maruti, because one, they are great companies, they run very efficiently. But second, they're protected by regulations. Am I right? So our regulations protect them a lot. And if you think about the global landscape today, right, what Trump was doing with China, what Europe is trying to do with UK, what are these geopolitical tensions about? These are about trade barriers, right? These are about the fact that you don't allow me to do business fairly in your country. I'll give you a data point on this side. So one night, Trump tweeted, India remove custom duty from Harley Davidson.
Yeah,
that was just a tweet, right? If you remember that tweet.
Yes. Yes.
The next day, a very affluent bike maker stock was down 10% in India.
Yeah.
Even though that affluent bike maker is thought to be a great company. But the moment people realize that I can buy a Harley Davidson for 3 lakhs, I would probably never buy any other brand for 2 lakhs.
True.
Right? So this is the level of risk investors carry in their portfolio, because they are invested in so many locally competitive companies, and they are very less invested in globally competitive companies. When you invest in globally competitive companies, your wealth compounds. Let me give you another data point, Sai. So the BSE Healthcare Index has outperformed the Nifty 50 by a total of 57% in the last 17 years.
Wow.
In 17 years, outperformance is 57%. That is 3% annualized outperformance, right? Now, this is a sector which has outperformed over such a long period of time, and it has outperformed the broader market, which includes financial services, automobiles, cement, IT, everything, right? The thing people miss out on is why this sector is outperforming so much. And the answer to that is that this sector is globally competitive. Regulations don't protect us. In fact, regulations hurt healthcare companies whenever they come out. Am I right?
True.
They never help healthcare companies. And all the other sectors, regulations are helping them and not sort of, hurting them. Despite that, we outperform. And the reason for that has been the fact that we are globally competitive. We have no competition, globally speaking, Indian pharma companies.
Yeah.
Secondly, if you now look at the regulatory landscape itself, Sai, lastly, the landscape that you see globally, the regulatory landscape, now it is starting to help the pharma companies. The first time in my experience of 2 decades of looking at pharma and healthcare, am I seeing regulations coming out of India, which is actually helping pharma companies. You have your product linked incentive schemes coming out in API manufacturing, formulation manufacturing. You have the government giving grants to create capacity for vaccines. You have government creating primary healthcare centers in tier 3, tier 4 towns. They're spending 4,000 crores over 6 years to create this healthcare infrastructure in our country. They are giving public insurance to 10 crore families. That's 45 crore individuals. And that insurance will basically take care of affordability of healthcare. So, things are changing, Sai, for the better in the sector. And the sector has already compounded far better than any other sector in India over the last 17 years. And when things get better, it can compound even better. Which is why, so these are the primary reasons why I feel everyone in India has to be invested